Friday. Y'all, so I'm trying to figure out, right? I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to, thank you, Lovey, for the likes. I'm trying to figure out if I am going to continue to go live over here on Wednesdays or if I'm solely going to do Fridays over here. I'm trying to figure it out. Thank you, my love, because I'm going to start going live on my Substack and with my Substack community. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to let y'all know. So if y'all on my email list, you'll know by next week for sure. Okay? So come on in, come on in. We're going to be talking specifically about how you're not actually stuck. You're operating in the wrong reality layer. Layer. Okay? So come on in, come on in. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. We're talking about how you're not stuck. You're operating in the wrong reality layer. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist, and what I do specifically is I support my amazing clients who are high capacity women. I guide high capacity women to stabilize internal hierarchy so that money, health, relationships don't fragment, okay? Under pressure, excuse me. And so I absolutely love the work that I do. Women that tend to come to work with me get one of three results. They make more money, they get healthier, they have better relationships with the masculine, and they have better relationships sustaining feminine community, which is very, very vital and very, very important. Thank you, my love, for these likes. And so I absolutely love the work that I do. And so what we're going to be diving deep into today, a lot of people are wondering why they're unable to kind of ground themselves and root themselves in the proper reality. And this is a big issue of why they're not getting the results that they want. So this live is really going to break down some things and really open some doors and awaken some things in you. So I hope that you are prepared, because you need to be operating on all three of these realities so that you can actually create the reality that you desire, if that is what you really want for yourself. Excuse me. So I'm going to be diving into that, and I'm also going to be diving into who this live is for, breaking down the three realities that we're going to be talking about. And I'm just going to be talking about three. And for those of you who haven't, if you want to quantum jump, if you want to jump timelines, I have a free guide in my bio that teaches you how to jump timelines. It's called The Time Code, the mathematical formula for timeline jumping. And so you can click the link in bio to be able to get access to that, to learn exactly the formula of time, how to timeline jump. And timeline jumping is basically you positioning yourself to be able to get different results than what you're currently getting. So I have a full guide on breaking it down on how to do that. When you get it, download the guide. The first page in the letter, you're going to see where the video is. You're going to click the link. You're going to go straight to the video, and you're going to use the guide to just continue to kind of follow you through. Okay, so that's the first thing. Also, you can get access. Oh, let me fix that real quick. Also, you can get access to any products and services on there as well. And let me correct something while I am on here really quickly, actually, because I didn't fix it, so you guys will be able to see it. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. So come on in. Do me a favor while you are here. Let me know that you can hear me clearly by putting a 1 in the comments for me. And then the second thing I need you to let me know is where you are watching from. So let me know that you can hear me by putting a 1 in the comments, and let me know where you are watching from. Okay? Thank you so much for your ones while I correct this. And it's right on time because my computer is about to die. So I'm fixing it right on time. Hey, Chicago. Hey, Maryland. Tennessee at work. I know that's right. Okay. Let me put this up here and make sure that it's visible. Yes. Skip for now. And let's go here. Hey, Florida. What part of Florida? Come on in. Come on in. What part of Florida? And I'm actually think I'm going to make my way back to Chicago, because I haven't been to Chicago in a minute, and I need to kind of make my way back. Let me see, product display. Let me see if it's showing up now. No. Oh, something is not showing up that I want to show up. Palm Bay, Central Florida. Okay. Okay. I'm coming, y'all. I'm trying to make sure this is correct because I don't want to tell y'all to go to something and it's not what it needs to be. Oh, okay, there we go. It's showing up now. Perfection. There we go. All right. Do a workshop if I come. You know, I'm working on a retreat. I'm just not saying, I can't be loud about it right now, but something is coming before the year is out. And I'm working on it in an area so we can all kind of like meet up. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a really good time. Okay. But yeah, let me go ahead and so I can get started now that I've gotten it corrected. For those who do not know who I am, my name is L. Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist. And like I said, what I do specifically is I help my amazing clients who are high capacity women. I support those amazing high capacity women in stabilizing internal hierarchy, okay? So that their money, so that their health, and so that their relationships literally stop fragmenting under pressure. So what that looks like is you stop folding on your boundaries just because you're the one in your family who made it, or you really position yourself to stand on business, or you stop having a problem being a villain in everyone else's story, because if that means that you're going to take care of yourself and make sure that you're good, you're okay with that. So this is what that looks like when you are stepping into the space of honoring your internal hierarchy, okay? And I teach a lot of this behind closed doors. Why is it so important for you to stabilize your internal hierarchy? Because when you stabilize your internal hierarchy, guess what happens? Your money increases, your health regulates, and your relationships reorganize automatically. When you begin to rise up in your frequency, people who are not on that type of time in your frequency, that's why some of them, they don't really know how to deal with that. They start coming at you like, oh my goodness, you think you better than me, yada 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 yada. It's because you're on a different frequency at this point and they can't see it. They can't see it. They can't see past their limited perception. So this is what this actually kind of like looks like. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. As we get into the topic, what I ask of you is that I have a goal of getting to like 25,000 and likes. And so what I ask is that if you find value in this live, for you to like the live, for you to share the live with other people, other women who can really, really benefit from this, because I'm really going to open up some things and awaken some things in this particular live. Hey, Kendra, my love. And I'm going to talk about a solution in this space too. Okay. So let me tell you who this live is for, just so we can have some house rules. And also please keep your questions for the end, because I promise I will answer them. I don't want to get distracted from what I need to really give y'all, because you really need to be operating and understanding and being rooted in all three of these realities that I'm going to talk about today, so that you can actually get the desires of your heart and create the reality that you desire. So happy Feminine Friday. I'm coming with gifts because I'm dropping them gems. Okay. So if you get value, make sure you like the live, make sure you share the live, and do that not even for myself, really more so for you, because when you sow value into the universal algorithm, you receive value. So, and that value is going to be returned to you in some form or fashion. And so I live by that principle. I teach that principle and I educate my clients on that principle as well. And it works. Okay, it works. So share with someone, put in your stories if you feel like you find value, all of that great stuff. But if you don't find value, you don't have to do any of those things. There's no pressure. Okay. All right. If you see me sipping, I'm sipping on my clove tea. All right. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. This live is going to be, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. So thank you, lovey. Let me see. So when you, who I'm talking to in this particular live, number one, this live is for the woman who is high capacity, who is not necessarily in a space of high maintenance, but high capacity. She kind of handles a lot of different things. She's able to handle a lot of different things. A lot of these type of women tend to be the oldest daughters or the family managers, because sometimes it's not the oldest daughter, it's the family manager. Sometimes it's another daughter, okay? This woman is extremely intelligent. She's self-aware. She's emotionally literate. She's already tried therapy. She's already tried mindset work. She's already tried spirituality. She's already tried discipline. She's already tried strategy. And she's still quietly asking herself, why does this still feel harder than it should? Okay. She's not confused about the effort because she knows how to get out there and get things done. She's been able to do that since she was a child. She was raised to be that way, to get things done. But the issue at hand is she is confused about why her hard work has not been paying off. Why is it that her effort hasn't been paying off? No matter what she does, she followed all the rules. She was a good girl. She was this, she was that. But she still don't have the things that supposedly, if she did these things, that she was going to get. We're going to talk about that today. You're not stuck. I know a lot of you think you're just kind of stuck. You're not stuck. You're operating on the wrong reality layer. And you could easily do this when you don't understand the layers of reality. And so I'm going to break that down for you. Everything that I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. Okay, I'm a nerd, so I love to dissect these things and go into it. So I'm about to break down these concepts because you need these so that you can actually take action. Thank you, my love. Let me tell you, for these likes, thank you for these likes, these gifts, and these comments. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to do any of that. I'm here to give you a message. I'm here to transmit a message. I'm here to give you the message and for you to get activated, because some of you have been praying about what I'm about to say so you can grasp the understanding of this. And once you get it, you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to take off, because we are now in a time frame where it's time. I was having a conversation with my best friend yesterday, and she said something so potent. And if you agree that with this, I want you to put the word time in the comments. But she said, for those of the world who have ears, they are hearing right now that it's time. Now, what time is for them, what is time for them to do, is different for everybody. But the people who could hear, the people who really have ears, are hearing that it's time. Now, whatever that time is for you, I don't know. But if that's for you, make sure you put time in the comments, because it is time. A bell is going off. A bell is being rung. There is an alarm going off. We don't have the time that you think that you have. Okay? So what I'm going to teach you today is going to help you get rooted in all of these realities. But I'm going to tell you why I created this. That came, like, why I'm doing this live and what inspired me. I'm gonna tell you, I'm a millennial. I'm on the older end of the millennials. I'm really a zennial, so I'm like 42. So I'm 80 and born in 83. Okay, I'm doing this live for the younger millennials. I mean, it's for everyone, but I really need the younger millennials to pay attention. I really need Gen Z to pay attention. I really, really, really need Gen Z to pay attention. Because the millennials, we have a little bit more of something, but I'm going to explain what I mean. This is what made me create this live about the realities. I have a very strong concern for Gen Z and many of those who come after Gen Z. My concern is the identity crisis that I feel like a lot of Gen Z is going to have. Here's what I mean. Gen X, boomers, millennials, all of them had some form of identity crisis. And an identity crisis, to me, is basically an initiation. It's your opportunity to take off the mask that you've been wearing, because you can no longer walk around like that, because your life and the quality of your health is going to change if you don't change your life. This is why you see people, you hear these stories about famous people quitting at 36 and quitting at 50 and changing their whole life around and becoming this and creating that, because they go through an initiation. You have to pass or fail this initiation. Hear me if you are Gen Z. This is why this is so crucial for you and why I'm telling you this right now. I am concerned about the identity crisis that Gen Z is going to have, and this is why. As a millennial, I watched the transition from CDs and, burning CDs and doing all that stuff to everything becoming digital, right? So my generation is the last generation to Earth. And what I mean by that is my generation is the last generation to be rooted in a physical reality, okay? My generation is the main generation that is rooted, the last one that's rooted in earthly reality. We went outside, the street light kids and all of those things, right? So we were the last generation that was really rooted in hard work and focusing on that and yada, 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 right? So our reality is grounded in earth for the most part. Millennials have learned how to create in something I like to call social reality, which is what a lot of Gen Z grew up in. Now, here's where the issue comes in, okay, where I'm concerned about Gen Z. It's not that it's anything wrong with you being in the social reality, but Gen Z, the majority of them, your identity is rooted in the social reality. And that's the problem. It's rooted in the social reality to the point to where you believe that this is your identity and this is all you know. This is why there's a lot of social anxiety, because there wasn't a lot of socializing, the family reunions and all these different things where we had to be in scenarios with each other. A lot of those things demolished with the millennial generation because we was tired. We ain't really doing the home gatherings. We ain't really doing the family reunions. We not really doing the class reunions because everything became very, very digital. However, when it comes down to Gen Z specifically, you guys grew up in the social reality. So in that space, your identity, a lot of it is in the social reality. And because it's in the social reality, there's a lot of problems struggling to get into the earthly reality, to be able to materialize things and to be able to thrive in this reality right here, the earth reality. Now, here's the issue that's going to come into play for a lot of Gen Z as they begin to age, going into 30, going into 40. Okay? So the thing is this: when you hit that wall and you're not able to thrive from the social reality that you were born into and that you rooted your identity into, and you have to face the earthly reality of what is happening around you, it is potentially going to cause a massive breakdown with a lot of Gen Zers. Okay? It's a lot of Gen Zers, okay, that are going to have a huge identity crisis in this space because they're not knowing who they are outside of the social reality. This is why a lot of friendships and different things are being developed very differently with Gen Z. It's a lot of friendships based on clout chasing. It's a lot of connections based on superficial things in this social reality. This is why it's so hard for a lot of them to ground in the earthly reality. But if you want to thrive, not just survive, if you want to thrive going forward, if you are in Gen Z or in the lower end of the millennial, you have got to learn how to operate in all three of the realities that I'm going to talk about today. And social reality is nothing wrong with it, but you got to know how to utilize it. You don't want to root your identity there. Because when you find yourself 30 and 40 and not getting the results that you thought you were going to get by creating this persona in this social reality, when you can't bring this social reality individual into actual reality, that causes a crisis. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. And so I'm trying to prevent that for a lot of you. So you have got to understand the multiple layers of realities. And you have to learn how to root yourself and ground yourself in the three that I'm going to talk about in a specific way. There's a reason for social reality. There's a reason for the physical reality. There's a reason for the spiritual reality. And you need to understand all of it. Okay? All of it. All right. So for those who are joining and who don't know who I am, my name is L. Antoinette. Y'all save y'all questions too towards the end for me because I'm kind of on a time. So I'm trying to take care of some stuff. So I need to be on this because this message is like dead for real. Okay. So if you don't know who I am, my name is L. Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist. And what I do specifically is I guide high capacity women to stabilize internal hierarchy so that their money, their health, and their relationships stop fragmenting under pressure. Okay. Why is that so important? When internal hierarchy stabilizes, what happens is your money increases, your health regulates, and your relationships reorganize, automatically. These are the top results that my clients get. Their money increases, their health regulates, and their relationships reorganize. Okay? That's what happens for them. So let's get straight into how you're not really stuck. You're just operating in the wrong reality layer. Okay? So I'm going to say something that might feel relieving, but also like kind of confronting at the same time. So I just want to give you a heads up, okay? Most people are not really failing at life the way that they think that they are failing at life. They actually are trying to solve a problem in the wrong layer of reality. When you are trying to solve a problem in the wrong layer of reality, it's like being at a job that does not care about you, and you consistently keep trying to advocate for them to care about you. Okay? You are trying to solve an advocacy problem in a wrong reality, in a reality that does not care about your well-being. And so I'm going to support you in understanding that. So here's the thing. When you fix that, okay, when you try to fix a foundation problem with surface tools, you get burnout, you get confused, and you begin to blame yourself. So for example, let's just say you were trying to take an aspirin and you had an ulcer. That's an issue that's happening at the core, at the foundation. There's something that's happening within the body. And aspirin is not going to do anything for that, okay? So again, when you try to fix a foundation problem with surface tools, you get burnout, you get confusion, and you get self-blame. I want you to think about a space in your life where you are confused, where you are currently burnt out, and where you are blaming yourself. You possibly could be trying to use surface tools to deal with a problem that is at your core. Okay, so today I'm going to walk you through a simple, very, very clean and honest framework. So for your understanding, okay? So you can understand why effort hasn't been translating into the outcomes that you want. And I'm going to teach you how to do this without blaming yourself and without promising any crazy form of woo-woo or anything like that. I'm not promising you magic. I'm just going to give you the science. Like I said, everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. You cannot defy your own physics. You cannot defy the laws of reality. You are not above the program. And if you need a reminder of what the program is, let's start from the beginning. Number one, spiritual law is the overall universal program, and you're not bigger than that. So when it says the law of sowing and reaping, that's on all ends for yourself and for others, not just when people piss you off, okay? When we're talking about, oh, I lost my train of thought. What'd I say? I just lost my train of thought. Jeez. Hold on, I'm thinking. Hey, y'all put in the comments for me what I'm thinking. The program. Okay. So spiritual law, you're not above the universal program. On this earth, okay, the program is scientific law, right? It's natural law. So you cannot violate natural law on this earth and think that you're going to have order. If you want to know why where there's so much pollen in the spring and why, there seems to be way more pollen than usual, that's because they uprooted a lot of the female trees. When you uproot and you disrupt nature, you cause issues within the earth. And so that's an example of that, okay? So you're not above natural law. That's the second thing. The third program is your nervous system. You are not above the program of your body, and your nervous system is the program of your body. Your nervous system is the program. If the brain gets an alert that you are in danger, the nervous system says, got it, cortisol, got it, adrenaline, got it. See, it receives the message from the brain. This is why belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way that you behave. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these follows and these gifts. So, again, I'm going to be walking you through a very, very simple, honest framework for understanding why your efforts have not been translating into the outcomes that you desire. The reality is, while we're on this earth, I know people like to say, oh, we're going to do all this and we get to heaven. You're supposed to have heaven on earth, and that's in scripture. You've been praying the same prayer since you were 5 years old and have not realized that you have been asking for heaven to open the gates, the floodgates, so that you can receive what is necessary from heaven onto earth. The biggest problem that a lot of people have, they claim that they believe in a creator, in the Most High God, is that you believe that the Most High would allow your whole life to be one of suffering. You cannot believe that that is the existence that was pinned out for you. You cannot believe that was the existence that was pinned out for you. So like I said, we're going to talk about why effort hasn't been translating into outcomes without blaming you, without promising any crazy form of magic. We just going to get down to the science of it because I'm a nerd and I like the science of things. So before I go any further, let me be very clear on something that I want to be clear. If you're not here, and if you've never been here before, I care about truth. I care about truth. Not every creator that gets on this app, not every, person who is working in the coaching field or whatever, not everyone has spiritual ethics. I have to answer to the Most High God. I understand my assignment. I understand my responsibility. I'm not here to gimmick you or play no games with you. I really don't have that kind of time. I'm literally on assignment. It's either for you or it's not for you. I'm going to sleep good in it either way. Okay? But what I ain't going to do is tell you no lies. And what I am telling you, you can go and look up for yourself, because I am a firm believer that you should not just take what anybody tells you. You should go and look it up. And I love looking stuff up. Okay? I love looking stuff up. So what I'm about to share with you is not a scientific claim. It's not a just religious doctrine. It's not a promise that you can just, control everyone else's reality. What I'm teaching you is very much so a very layered model, a way of understanding how different parts of this life operates according to different rules. Okay? So we just gonna get into it. So if you've ever felt like some advice that you've been given, or you've been able to give advice to other people that works for them, but not necessarily for you, you ain't been able to take it. This may be able to explain why. You're probably operating on the wrong reality layer. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes and these comments. I appreciate you. Remember, we got a goal of 25,000. So if you have value, if you find value in this live, please share it with someone else. If you are like the live, so that I know that you are receiving value, and so that you pour that value back into yourself, because when you sow value, you receive value, and you never know where that value is coming from. I've had experiences. I'll never forget the time that something told me to give $500 to this church, right? And I was like, that's kind of random, but okay. And so I went ahead and I did it, and then come to find out, that was the amount that person had been asking the Most High for, specifically so they can close out on a project. And then right after that, I closed a $1,500 deal. So when I tell you, I'm a firm believer in sowing and reaping, I understand spiritual law. If you want to thrive as a woman, rule number 1, you need to understand spiritual law so you can create your reality. Number 2, you need to understand the science of yourself so you stop fighting against your body. This is coming from someone who used to have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Keyword used to. So understanding the science of yourself will support you in being able to put your body back in ease, because dis-ease is a lack of harmony within the body. It's a truth teller. Okay. The third thing that's very important if you want to thrive as a feminine woman in this society is you need to study the generational psychology of the women that came before you without judging them. And you need to really pay attention to what the real curses are, because a lot of you have went and made a whole lot of money thinking that the curse was creating generational wealth, when the curse really was healing the curse of low self-esteem. Because despite all the money that you have, you still getting outwitted. You still getting outsmarted. You still getting done in by people because you have what? Low self-esteem, like your mother had, like your grandmother had. This is why it's important for you to understand the generational psychology of the women that came before you without judging them, because they are only doing life one time in this experience, just like you. So when you can understand spiritual law, guess what you're going to do? Create your own reality. When you understand the science of yourself, you ain't going to work against your body. You ain't going to become your own enemy like society makes you. And number 3, you can't get caught up by the enemy, so you recognize the old loops within your family that you are willing to not repeat. Do you understand? This is going to impact and improve the quality of your life, what I'm telling you right here. And improving the quality of your life is how you're going to thrive as a woman in this society, because this society is set up for you to not thrive. Understand this. Understand this. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. So let's go ahead and get straight into it, okay? Here's what I tend to see over and over again as a problem with a lot of women, right? This live is actually going to go on YouTube. So you can click the link in my bio, and it'll be on YouTube first thing in the morning, probably around 9 something is when I normally have it come up, okay? Here's what I tend to see over and over again when it comes down to women specifically. A lot of women are trying to fix physical exhaustion with motivation. Why are you trying to motivate yourself to get out of bed? Do you understand that motivation is only for a moment? It's not sustaining. This is why you cannot thrive on that. You can't thrive on motivation. You can survive on it barely, but you cannot thrive on motivation. A lot of women are trying to fix physical exhaustion with motivation. Sweetheart, it doesn't work that way. See, we trying to do surface tools with a body problem, with a depth issue. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments, and these follows. It's a depth issue, beloved. That's like putting lotion on your body when you have a on your leg, when the leg is broken. When the leg is broken. Okay? I also see women that are trying to fix money problems by hustling. I also see women trying to fix money problems by hustling. I also see women trying to fix money problems by hustling. Let me tell you something. We as women have 2 clocks. Men, DM me, my love. I'll send it to you. My men have 1 clock. Men have 1 clock. Okay? They have the circadian rhythm clock. What we have is that's a sun clock. We have the circadian rhythm clock, and we also have a moon clock, which is our lunar clock, which is our cycle clock. Let me tell you something about how society set this, how the oppressors of this society set this up to be able to block the divine feminine. The divine feminine has been being blocked by society by training you to operate according to masculine schedules. The 24-hour day is based around the calendar and the clock of testosterone, okay? It is built around that, okay? Women have that 24-hour clock, and then we also have our lunar clock, which is our menstrual cycle clock. We have 4 phases in that menstrual cycle clock, okay? 4 phases: luteal, follicular, ovulation, and menstrual. You become 4 different women literally in 1 month. And if you are doing reparenting work, you have 6 people going on over there, because you also have your inner child and you have your inner teen. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. So you literally like 6 people. So it's not that you're moody. You don't know how to tap in to how your body shifts and changes throughout each phase. And I break this down in my course bundle that you can get. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you so much. You can get it in my course bundle called The Physics of Rhythm, where I break down your clocks, your moon clock and your sun clock, okay? So the way they've been blocking the divine feminine has been blocking us by making us work away from and without regarding our lunar clock. This is why they tell you to push through on your cycle. This is why they, give you pills and have created this whole industry around, oh, you got PMS, oh, you have this, oh, you have that. These are not things that you have. You are not in sync with your cycle. Your body needs rest. A lot of women think that they need to continue to work, hustle, hustle, hustle. And y'all don't just do this with 9 to 5. You don't just do this in business. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. Y'all do this with working out. Coming from someone who used to be 100 pounds heavier, the fact that you are not going to sleep at night is why that weight is staying on you. Because cortisol holds weight. It is stress. A lot of you are simply inflamed. You don't sleep. You don't eat right. You are not in sync with your cycle. You're working like a man. And so guess what happens when you get PCOS? You start developing a beard. See, and I want you to really, really, really think about this for a second. When you start looking at women who have even PCOS, even myself, I became very boxy. Your body form starts to change when you are having too much testosterone in your body. The hair is coming, your body is starting to change and shift. All of these things are changing. You are literally almost morphing into a man because you are working against your womb. But that is what society wants. Do you understand that it's not a coincidence that a bunch of women have a bunch of womb issues? Are you not paying attention to what is happening around you? Women who have womb issues it's not just about creation and being able to bring children. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. Thank you, my love, for these likes, these gifts, and these comments. Let me tell you somehow how it's deeper. Did you know that there is a phase in your cycle that if you got in tune with it, it's a phase in your cycle where your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, and your ovaries get together. And if you can align with that energy and tap into that energy, your creative portal goes poof. and you really can make some money there. I have helped women make so much money by learning how to utilize that one window right there. Women have positioned themselves to be able to create realities and make a whole lot more money. Your womb is not just bringing life in the form of children. There is a connection between, it's called the HPO axis, the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, okay, and the ovaries are working together during a specific phase of your cycle. And if you know how to tap into that energy properly, then you can utilize that. Even if you're menopausal, you still have a hormonal schedule. You just need to you need to track. It's a different way you track, because I teach that as well. But the thing is, when you know how to tap into that energy, because you understand the science of yourself, you won't work hard, you'll rest. For all y'all who say y'all study scripture, for all y'all that say y'all love God and be screaming and hollering how good God is, why are you not paying attention to the fact that the women in scripture, when they were on their cycles known as Nada, those women were in solitude. Nobody even slept in the same bed with them. Nobody talked to them. They were to themselves. Why? Because during that time, it is a sacred time. Do you understand? It is a sacred time because you are not only physically releasing, you are supposed to be spiritually releasing the things that don't belong. You are supposed to be releasing mentally the things that don't belong. You are supposed to be releasing emotionally the things that don't belong. And you're supposed to be doing this every month. You wondering why you have things that form in your body? Because you don't know how to release. And a lot of you, and it's trickling down to the physical manifestation of that. Because how many times do you actually make a bowel movement? You are not releasing. You wondering about that acne? Do you understand that acne coming on your face is basically your body wasting on your face, letting you know it's so much waste that they're not getting, it can't get rid of it all, that it's showing up on your face? Now this coming from somebody who knows. Who knows? Okay? So I'm telling you. But and let me tell you something. And I'm not, here's the thing that I don't want to immediately just block you, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't work with women who have limited thinking. Because just because you are working does not mean that you cannot find rest. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Kendra, because I don't have to go any further. Thank you. The reality of the situation is rest or die early. And there is no nice way for me to tell you that. You can get your rest now or you can leave here early. And if you have children, how dare you be so selfish? How dare you be so selfish for you not to live for your children? Because we hear a lot of people talking about how much they'll die for their children, but will you live for them? Will you tap into the truth and the science of yourself so you can thrive as a woman and be the type of mother you really want to be and not the exhausted one? Because not everybody is exhausted. You understand? So you really got to tap into this and really understand the science of yourself. The oppressors of this society did these things on purpose to make women powerless, to keep you in a hold of being a victim. You've got to make a decision that you want to shift your reality to something else. Okay? So again, I'm seeing women try to fix physical exhaustion, okay, with motivation. That doesn't work. I see women trying to fix money problems with hustle, and it's making you sick. Okay? I'm seeing women try to fix directional problems with more information. The self-help industry is doing extremely well because women tend to keep them in business. Because one thing about us as women, we love books and we love schooling, but we don't learn. Hear what I just said? We love books. Everybody want to come in my end. What books did you read? What this? A lot of what I'm giving you is experience and wisdom and spiritual knowledge and going and having ego deaths and being in the dark with the Most High and receiving this information with a sacrifice of myself. So any form of wisdom that I give you came at great sacrifice to me. Any formula or framework that I give you came at great sacrifice to me. You know why why women get healthier when they come to work with me? Because I used to be 100 pounds heavier, and I used to have polycystic ovarian syndrome. How do women make more money when they come to work with me? Because hell, I used to be out here hustling, going bald in the center of my head, stressed out, trying to listen to what society's saying about hustle, 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 and sick. Okay? So these things, like, more information is not going to fix what I need to do. Stop asking people. See, here's the thing that's real true. Here's the thing that's true. People be knowing what to do. You just want somebody to tell you something different. When people ask me, how did you lose 100 pounds? Like, what did you do? Simple math. Eat less, move more. Huh? Simple math. Eat less, move more. So when we say, okay, eat less what? Eat less crap. Move more healthy food into my body. Eat less garbage. Okay? Move my body. Eat less calories. Move my body. It's real simple. Don't stop. Y'all got to stop getting it for what did you do? Because y'all not finna do it. Y'all not finna do it. How did you stop dealing with, men who are stop attracting unavailable, emotionally unavailable men? Stop entertaining them. How do I stop attracting stop entertaining them? You can't help who like the light. Roaches like the light when you turn it on. A moth like a light. A butterfly like a light. Choose the butterfly. What is you choosing a roach for? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. It's real simple. You don't want to do it. You want somebody to pacify you and hold your hand. As calm, as feminine, as loving as I am, I don't do that. Because you know what you need to be doing. You need a fire lit under you so you can get it done. Okay? Period. Yes, you have to get to the root. Point blank, period, the end. So here's the thing about those things that I told you, trying to fix exhaustion with motivation, trying to fix money problems with hustle, trying to fix directional problems with more information, okay? Those problems, here's the thing that you need to know. Those problems don't live in the same layer. They don't live in the same reality layer. Those are different reality layers that we have to address. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. And I promise I'm going to answer all y'all questions as soon as it's over. Okay? And the reality of the situation is this. When you work in the wrong layer of reality, you don't get progress, you get pressure. You get pressure. Okay? And when you become pressured, depending on your nervous system level, you're going to result back to your default if you haven't rewired your nervous system. So if you don't know how to really respond to pressure in a healthy way, you're going to go back to your default, boo. Okay? When you are operating in the right layer, you get progress. Wrong layer, you get pressure. So let's go into introducing these 3 reality layers, okay? So I'm going to break down reality into 3 specific layers. You're going to need to be rooted in all 3 of these if you want to make sure that you want to create the reality you desire going forward. We are in a new era. All the things that you thought that you knew, over with. I'm telling you, life gonna look so different by 2029. Your head gonna spin. Get your mind right now. You got this year, because like I said in the beginning of this live, a bell is being rung very loudly. And like my best friend said yesterday morning, we were talking. She said, for those who have ears and can hear, we are all hearing it's time. It's time. Now, what is time for you to do? Only you know. But you better stop playing. I'm here to tell you. I have been told you better stop playing. The time is right now. Whatever it is supposed to be. And you know. But it's supposed to be right now. And those who have ears, you're hearing the bells. That's not a warning bell. That's the bell that's telling you the British are coming. Do you understand? You ain't got the time you think you got. So stop playing with them. All right. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Now, I'm going to break down these reality into 3 layers. Okay. Not because reality is necessarily simple, but because clarity requires structure. Okay. And clarity is command. So here's the thing about these layers. All of these layers that I'm going to talk about, the 3 of them, they all exist at the same time, and none of them cancel the other out, which is why you have to make sure that you're rooted in all of them at all times so you can get the results that you want. I'm only talking to the people who want the desires of their heart. I'm not talking to the people who don't. So if you don't want the desires of your heart, you don't want the things for yourself, this probably ain't going to be the life for you. I'm just going to keep it real with you, baby. This ain't it. Go ahead to somebody else who's going to pacify you. We don't trauma bond over here. We don't vent. We don't do none of that. We get to the root of it over here, okay? And if that's what you're here for, welcome. But you're going to need all 3 of these realities. So let's go ahead and get into it, okay? None of them can cancel each other out. When they are aligned, life feels very powerful and it feels very clean. Let me tell you why life feeling powerful and clean is very important. When life feels very powerful and very clean, that means that you can make clear, bold decisions, okay, without fear. And let me tell you what you're going to need going forward, especially right now. You're going to need to be able to make bold, clear decisions without fear. And you're going to have to be able to make them quickly. If you do not make them quickly, because decisions are being made for you right now. Decisions are being made for you and about you at this moment right now. And you're going to need to maneuver. You're going to need to shake something, okay? You're going to have to shake it. I'm so serious. She said that message. Oh my God, I literally just had to. You, listen, you're going to have to shake, okay? Now, if you are in misalignment, any of these realities, okay, if they're misaligned, life feels very heavy. Here's why you can't afford for life to feel very heavy for you right now. Internally, society, there is a WAR going on, okay? There are multiple ones that are going on. All of them, I want to say this right, and I want to say this in a way where I don't get banned or flagged. All of them are requiring a sacrifice, okay? That thing that I just said, the WAR, is psychological. The goal is to exhaust you spiritually. And I've been telling y'all this since 2023, and it's happening right now. I've been telling y'all, go back to the video on my YouTube. I literally did a video in YouTube, February the 3rd, 2023. I was crying because I had woke up from a vision with the Most High, and I got on this app and I told y'all that the Most High showed me about how people were wasting their talents and their resources, and you are going to get, and whatever you have, that little bit of what you have is going to get snatched from you because you are not prepared. I warned people that people were going to get laid off and all these things, and everything started happening right after that month. Boom, 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 and it's still happening. I am telling you, I have not changed my story since February 3rd of 2023. The goal is to exhaust you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, so that you act out physically. Why do you think they putting people in position in your cities? Do you understand that you are in the middle of a pilot program for what's about? Don't say that. The war is psychological. They want you to lose your mind and lose your cool and act up so then they can make you a slave. Let me also tell you, because I told you this too. I told y'all this too a couple of years ago. I watched a meeting, a very, very large one, and it was online, and it was a young lady saying, she was saying, and this was in 2023 or 2024 when I said this, and for people who've been rocking with me, y'all know I told y'all this. She said, by the year 2030, 1 in 2, and I got a video where I did a TikTok years ago, 1 in 2 Americans are going to have an arrest record. We need to start preparing to work with this population. What happens when you have arrest records and things. It's hard for you to leave the country. It's hard for you to travel. It's hard for you to leave your state. I mean, you real confined, huh? Almost like a slave. The goal is to enslave you. The only way out of you being a slave is you becoming rooted in who you are spiritually, so that you can see past the spiritual games and psychological spell work and glamour magic that is being done through media, that is being done through music, that is being done through social media. Because when you can see through those things and you can keep your mind on where it needs to be, you can create even in chaos. This is when they talk about it be millionaires and stuff that come out of, crazy times and depressions. You ain't focused. That's why, y'all, don't let these people trick you out your spot and you become their slave. Don't let these people trick you out your spot and you become their slave. Their goal is to get your attention. Because the longer they have your attention, because attention is the highest form of currency in this society. As long as they have your attention, they understand that whatever has your attention, or however long we have your attention, the easier it is for me to manipulate your energy and motion, which is your emotions. That's why you fall in love with them characters on the TV screen, because the longer that you watch that TV show, you get attached to those characters, huh? Which is their goal, for them to capture your attention, to get you so emotionally invested that you have a reaction. Stop letting these people play in your face. The scripture tells you all this. It tells you all of this. It tells you all of this. Let me get into these realities, baby, because I go too far. And I can't go too heavy and too deep on here, girl, because they'll be looking for me. They'll be, they putting people on the list, girl. I don't know, girl. I'm already be on the list. They wouldn't be on the list, though. Okay? So let's get into the first layer, which is the foundational layer, okay? Ooh, honey. She said, currently going through this at we're hospital admit. Babe, I already know. A lot of the women that come to work with me work in the hospital. Lots. Doctors, nurses, admin, team, yes. NPs, all of it. So let's get into the first layer, which is the foundational layer of this experience, okay? And let me tell y'all something. When I say it's the foundational reality, it is the foundational reality. And if you're not rooted in this reality, a lot of confusion, a lot of burnout, a lot of exhaustion will come from this space, okay? The first layer, okay, is what I like to call the foundational layer. It's the layer of direction, it's the layer of possibility, and it's the layer of trajectory, okay? And it's the spiritual reality. The spiritual reality is the layer where direction lies, possibility lies, and trajectory lies, okay? Different traditions may call it different things. You'll hear some people say, oh, you know what I'm saying? This is my purpose. This is my calling. This is my destiny. This is alignment for me, or this is order. So different traditions and different, spaces, they look at this realm or this reality, the spiritual reality. They call it purpose. They call it calling. They call it destiny. They call it alignment. They call it all of these things, right? In modern language, a lot of people will use it as the spiritual reality is within the multiverse, okay? And I want to be very precise when I'm saying this. I'm not saying that, oh, there's scientifically proven multiple physical realities that you can jump in between. What I'm telling you is very much so a lot simpler and very, very true. At any given moment, and I do mean any given moment, there are multiple futures, okay? Possible futures, okay? Available to you. And your current position determines which ones are realistic for you, okay? So wherever you fall in these realities, wherever you fall on these vibrational scales, okay, it determines what your reality is going to be. So for example, like I just said, at any given moment, there are multiple possible realities available to you, and your current position determines which ones are realistic. A good example of this is this. For women who sit on the frequent... Let me talk to the women who have attachment style issues. And I want to be very clear with you on this. I'm not playing. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm keeping it real with you because I used to be anxiously attached. I'm very secure attached. Okay. Now, so When you are on the frequency of fear, which is what anxious attachment style is, which is what avoidant attachment style is, all of these things, it is rooted from a space of fear, okay? When you're sitting on the frequency of fear, there is no way for you to be able to see the possibility of love because you don't believe that to be real, because in your reality, which is fear, thank you, my love, for these gifts. I love that. Because you sit in the frequency of fear, you can't see past your fear to be able to actually hold and sustain the type of love that you are craving. So these realities aren't realistic to you. This is why you hear women say, there ain't no good men. Love isn't real. There are no multiple possibilities for them because of the position that they are in. They are sitting on the frequency of fear. And the Most High said that the Most High has not given us the spirit of fear. So what you doing, niece? What you doing down there? You done let these folks trick you into turning a theory into your damn identity. Y'all out here talking about some I am anxious attachment style? Do you understand the power of I am? You are identifying yourself like that. When you say I am such and such, that's your ID. It's literally you pulling out your purse and showing them your ID. That is what you identify as. Be very careful what you root your identity in. Dangerous. Because you make it your God. You make it your ruler. You put yourself under a spell. I'm this because I'm a Sagittarius. The issue at hand is not behind the actual zodiac or behind these things. It's the pedestal that you put it on, and you make the excuse about this because you root your identity in that. And you've made that your God. And when your God doesn't give you the rewards and the things that you are seeking, you want to be mad at the real one. But you don't root your identity in the one that created you for real. Even though it's a lane for you, even though you got a godlike nature, you don't want to tap into that. You want to identify as something small like a star. You want to identify with being a star when you literally are of the creation of all things, everything. It tells you in scripture, ye are gods. You have a godlike nature. It tells you, I'm making them in my image. So you have godlike nature and you settle for being a star? You settle for rooting your identity in something else other than the ultimate creator, which is what you are actually made of actually the divine? Be very careful of what you label yourself as. And you need to be, and the thing is, I tell women this all the time when they come to me and tell me, oh, I'm anxious attachment style, or I'm avoidant, oh, I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm da-da-da. You under a spell. Oh, I'm like that because I'm anxious attachment style. Can I put y'all on real game? I'm about to put y'all on some real game, especially for the ones who love to study their natal charts. I'm going to put you on real game. Do you understand that when you are looking at certain things and looking at these things, these are not excuses to say this is how you are. In all actuality, if you're studying even that, and I'm not even an astrologer because I'm a believer, but I study everything. The purpose of that, you're supposed to grow out of that. You're supposed to grow out of your chart. You're not supposed to be sitting. That's why it's progressive. See, this is what I be saying when y'all be coming on here talking this spiritual knowledge and you don't really have no knowledge. And you are dangerously putting things and making things an idol and making things your God and don't even know what you doing. You're not even, and wondering why you losing your mind. You're not supposed to identify yourself with anything outside of you being rooted in the truth of who you are spiritually, because your beliefs, your security and insecurity comes from the beliefs of your spiritual foundation. That's why I tell you in scripture, you're going to be bold like a lion because you got the fire in you because it's tattooed on your heart. Who in you? But see, when you don't understand that, you can't move like that. When you got something faulty, a creation as your creator, you can't move like that. When you identify yourself as a theory, attachment style is a theory. It ain't even y'all let a theory become your identity, something that's not even 100% accurate. Do you understand how dangerous it is? Y'all sit here and get mad. Y'all sit here and get mad about the laws that were created against us. And I'm talking about us as far as people that look like me. You get pissed off about this country creating laws around lies and false identifications and things like that. And you falsely identify yourself all the time. It's bad enough we have to live in a society that does it. Don't do it to yourself. This is why you're driving yourself crazy. Because you don't have that foundational layer set. And it's vital. Thank you, my love. Thank you for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Let me get back into this, because y'all done got me off track now. I'm just playing. Let's see how I blamed y'all. I'm just playing. So the first layer, the foundational layer, again, it's the spiritual reality. That's the foundation, period. Thank you, my love. The first layer, like I said, I call it the foundational layer because it's the layer of direction. It's the layer of possibility. It's the layer of trajectory, which means in different traditions, it's called purpose, calling, destiny, alignment, order, all of these things. Okay. So at any given moment, like I just told y'all, at any given moment, there are multiple realities of futures available for you. And your current positioning is going to determine which ones are realistic, which ones you can actually hold in your hand and sustain. Okay. Thank you, my love. So let me give you a couple examples. If your body is exhausted, certain futures are unavailable. Hear me what I'm telling you. And I'm going to use an example. I don't know if you're going to like it. If your body is exhausted, certain futures are unavailable for you. If you continue to carry yourself in an exhausted state, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have a healthy future is available to you. Because the body can only run on fumes for so long, baby. What you think you finna do? You think you bigger than the program? I told you your nervous system is the program, and you ain't bigger than the program. See, this is how people be having nervous breakdowns. Get into it. They're exhausted. You understand? Exhausted. If your nervous system is dysregulated, certain outcomes collapse. Oh, I know how much you want to be married. Oh, I know how much you want to be a wife. But the reality of the situation is your nervous system, you grew up with chaos. So you don't know how to sit in a healthy relationship. You don't know how to sit still long enough without becoming so bored that you pick a fight. You start mess. You just do something because your nervous system has not been rewired for safety. It is trained for chaos. And ain't nobody gonna stick around for that. Life is already hard enough. We have our own struggles and different things that we have to face in this life. You think I'm about to deal with your chaos on top of that because you can't control yourself? The outcome is I will not participate. So again, if your nervous system is dysregulated, certain outcomes collapse because ain't nobody dealing with that. Nobody. If your values are split, then your direction is fragmented. If your values are split, your direction is fragmented. Now I'm talking to the Christian community, especially for a lot of us who grew up as millennials, where we watched a lot of people who were older than us basically live double lives. Because here you are speaking one thing, but living something completely different. Your values are split. And if your values are split, your direction is fragmented. And without a vision, the people will perish. So if you have no direction, you are going nowhere until you drop. Until you finally drop. These are the things that you have to pay attention to. So if your values are split, okay, what we have to do is realize that your direction is going to be fragmented. Let me block you before I make an example out of you because you want attention. Okay? What you have to understand about the spiritual reality is this. The spiritual reality, this particular layer, it doesn't respond to force. You cannot force things in the spiritual layer. You cannot force things in the foundational layer. You have to choose alignment and the outcome is going to follow. You have to choose alignment and the outcome is going to follow. When people say, I don't know why things keep not working out for me, this is usually the layer that they are ignoring. I'm telling you, it don't miss. It don't miss. She said I would have at least have some. I won't miss. Every single time. When people say things like, I don't know why things keep not working for me, yada yada yada. A lot of times they ignoring the spiritual thing. And let me tell you how you doing it. Because you're trying to lean on your own understanding. You're trying to figure out how you didn't work 12 jobs and you still ain't got the amount of money you want. Okay? I would have said at least I had. Oh, I just caught what she said. That's so funny. Girl, some folks don't need to waste my time. The Holy Spirit was like, yeah, ignore that. Girl, because sometimes I make an example. I would tell people, don't get in my comments to cut up and make me use my gift on you. Please don't do that. Because I am a seer. Please don't do that. I would hate to say what I see. That's what I would hate. Because I'm going to say what I really see. Okay? It's so funny. Thank you, my love. But this layer, like I said, it doesn't respond to force. You have to choose alignment so the outcomes are going to actually follow. Okay, so it can actually follow. So if you find yourself in a space and you keep trying to lean to your own understanding, no matter what you do, nothing is working, you might need to see if you're rooted in the spiritual foundational layer. And if your foundation is shaky, of course, the material world is going to be shaky for you because you're a spirit being first, having a human experience, and the human experience is an energetic experience, even down to money exchange. That's an energetic experience. Attraction, energetic experience. I study attraction for a living. It's science. It's chemistry. Y'all, like, this is why when women come to work with me, I teach them feminine science. Feminine science is me taking chemistry, me taking physics, me taking psychobiology, and as well as taking some other key things in science and showing you how to utilize these things to fully live out the feminine experience as a woman. How to masterfully live in your feminine energy. Because it literally is science. You just don't work against the science. Don't work against who you are. But in order for you not to work against the science, you have to understand how precious you are in the sight of your creator spiritually. So if you're not grounded there, of course you're going to work yourself to the bone. Of course you're going to fall for the spells of working hard for the money. Of course you're going to fall for the spells of hustling hard. Of course you're going to do those things. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments, because you don't understand who you are spiritually. And so you don't have you're not secure enough to make bold, clear decisions. So you let other people make decisions for you. Okay? Which is one of the most dangerous things that you can do. Now, the second layer, thank you, my love, for these follows, likes, and these gifts. Yay, y'all didn't even tell me that we passed 25,000 likes. We're at 32. Thank y'all so much. So let's get to the second space, this is the one that people focus on the most. This is the material flow. This is the finances. This is layer 2. This is the material world. Okay? So we talked about the spiritual reality. Now we're talking about the material world and the material flow, the finances, and the social reality. And this is the reality that I was talking about that most Gen Z basically grew up in and are rooted in. They're rooted in social reality, right? So social reality kind of looks like, metaverse, basically properly defined. What I would like to call this is basically the second layer is a social and economic layer. So once we've dealt with the spiritual, now we're going into the social and the economic layers. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. This is where money, reputation, visibility, and opportunity move. In this realm, I'm in the social reality, social media reality. Okay. This is where money I'm trying to tell you something without telling you something. You need to be, this is so you can have forward progression. The digital reality. Hi, Lovey. The second layer of this is the social and economic layer, okay? This is where money, reputation, visibility, and opportunity move. It moves on the wave within the social reality. This layer on the social reality is not physical, okay? And that's important that it's not physical because money itself is not really a physical object. Yes, they've given us paper, but if you look up on Google, it says money is made up of 75% cotton, 25% linen. When the dollar crashes, it's literally going to be like tissue paper. Don't believe me? Go look it up for yourself. I'm not playing. Stop putting your value. See, they tricked us into believing that. They tricked us into people for paper. They tricked us into becoming slaves for paper. They tricked us into compromising our ethics for paper. And you compromise all of these things for paper when you don't know your internal value. And value is rooted in knowing your identity and the value of your, and understanding the power of your presence. This is the difference between somebody getting paid $100,000 a year and somebody being paid $100,000 for 2 hours. The one who getting paid $100,000 for 2 hours, it's the identity and it's the presence that is getting her paid. The one that's making $100,000 a year does not have the presence or the identity to receive that kind of pay, which is why she settled for working for 12 months instead of trusting the identity and the truth of herself and standing in that value to receive $100,000 for only working 2 hours. Y'all ain't no different from Beyonce. You let society tell you that you was different from her. You ain't no different from the people who got getting these bags. You let society tell you that they were better than you and that they were the standard. And you seeing these people halfway cracked out and crazy out their mind, but you letting them tell you that they deserve to make that kind of money and you got to work hard. Let me come back because you know I'll go left. Okay, hold tight. We're talking about the social reality here. Okay? We're talking about this second layer, which is the social and economic layer of this reality. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, these comments, and these follows. Again, this layer is not physical. And this is the important part that you need to understand about this digital reality. Money is not even a physical object. It's a social agreement. Money is a social agreement. It's a social agreement. Status, even in this society, is not even physical. Trust in this society is not even physical. Reputation is not physical. See, all of these things are thriving and residing in the metaverse. Okay? And that's why it's called the metaverse. And even in a sense, not if I was even to do it, not even in a tech sense, if I was just do it linguistically, do you know what meta means? See, because I like to get to the root of things. I don't be playing. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Meta means beyond or on top of. Let me tell y'all something. When you're dealing with elites and you're dealing with oppressors of this society, nothing that they do, they create, nothing that they participate in is coincidence. It's all ritual and it all has spiritual meaning. It all has spiritual meaning. Meta means beyond. Meta means on top of. Y'all better start paying attention. Better start paying attention. This layer, okay? And there's an analogy here with the cloud. A cloud. Exactly. I ain't even gonna get it. It's more to that too, but yeah. When I say meta means beyond and on top, it's letting you know that this layer, okay, the social layer, the metaverse layer, okay, it operates on top of the physical reality. Okay? The metaverse, the digital layer of this reality, the social reality, it's not a physical reality. And this is why I say I'm concerned about Gen Z. A lot of Gen Z who created their identity specifically within the social reality. They're not understanding that this is not the physical reality. This is only one aspect of reality that sits on top of the physical reality. So if you can't penetrate that and grasp that understanding, when you come into spaces where you actually have to be social with others, this is why there's anxiety around this. This is why this generation suffers very heavy with social anxiety, because the layer of reality that they have been rooted in, the majority of them, okay, in that generation, it sits on top of the physical reality. They have to learn how to ground themselves and take that down, okay, into manifesting into physical reality. That's how you're going to thrive and survive. The people's attention is being pulled upward. I'm Gen Z. Being amongst the people, I can sense the reality on top. Absolutely. It sits on top of the physical reality. And so this is why I don't like my baby sister is Gen Z. She's 27. I don't have beef or criticisms about Gen Z because I understand a lot of the origin. We as millennials, we grew up as social media was coming through and being created. We got to see all the transitions. They grew up in it. We grew up watching the expansion and growth of it. They were born in it. And because they were born in it, if you did not have people around you who grounded you in the actual physical reality, it's a struggle for a lot of people to come out of the social reality into the physical reality and manifest the things that they truly, truly desire and they really, really want. Okay? And I'm afraid of the identity crisis that a lot of Gen Z is going to have because they have not been able to materialize. So that's why I'm really doing this live, because it's for anybody who's stuck in a reality, even if you don't have the spiritual, because you could be in the social reality making money, but if you are working hard, but if you're not seeing no results, you don't have the foundational layer, which is the spiritual reality. It's 3 realities you're going to need to ground and root yourself in so that you can honestly escape the matrix. This is how you're going to really bypass the matrix. There is no other way. There is no other way. You've got to go through all of these layers simultaneously if you want to create the reality that you truly, truly desire. There is no way around it. You can't just sit in the spiritual realm, because see, this is how a lot of spiritual practitioners sit in the spiritual realm. You got all this knowledge, you got all this information, and you can't bring it on down into the material world because you don't know how to operate. You don't know how to operate in the social reality, so you can't even bring it down to materialize it. And then you have those who are stuck in the social reality who can't come down to materialize, to even interact with other people when the real riches are in relationships, because it's people that put your name in rooms. But because you don't know how to connect, because you are sitting in this social reality, you're in crisis. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. So again, let's give some examples of what this looks like, okay? When we're talking about being in the space of the social reality. Number 1, you can be working extremely hard physically and still be invisible socially. You can be extremely talented in the social reality and still be mispositioned. You can be very valuable in the social reality and still be underpaid. Okay? This is not moral failure. This is literally a layer mismatch. Most people at this layer, okay, at the social reality layer, what they try to do is they try to fix this layer with more output instead of clearer positioning. You posting all day online you listening to people tell you that if you post 12 times a day, people are going to buy your product. You listen to people tell you to put out more output and to do more things. And when you're not getting the result that you want, you're getting burnt out. You're getting burnt out because you think you need to work harder. You don't need to work harder in the social reality space. Because let's go back to it. This is why people be buying from you or buy into you on the social reality space. We are able to create income, because this is where money, reputation, visibility, and opportunity move in the social reality. But if you think working hard is what's going to make people buy from you, that's not going to work for you. That's not going to work, because people are overloaded. It's always somebody trying to sell them something. Hell, you get on TikTok, it's TikTok shopping turned into QVC. One day, now I'm telling my age with that one, but I'm looking on here and I'm looking at, baby, TikTok shop is giving QVC. It's giving home shopping network. Okay? So people are always out here on live posting, trying to get you to buy this, trying to get you to do that. That is not necessarily going to make people buy in. That is not going to make people buy from you. What's going to make people buy from you is you being clear in your position. You being clear on what you say. Most people come to me and say, are you worried about people stealing your content and stealing your... I'm never worried about nobody stealing nothing that I have going on. Because I'm going to tell you straight like this. I could give you, you could say everything I say. You could say everything I say. I could give you the entire recipe, baby. But guess what? I'm the secret sauce. I'm the missing ingredient. I'm the one. So I'm the one with the juice. My energy don't look good on you. See, you're looking at a woman who stands in her own lane. She understands her dominion. Nobody is talking about feminine energy. Nobody is talking about feminine energy, feminine design. Nobody is talking about it like I talk about it. Nobody talks about it on a spiritual level, a mental level, an emotional level, a physical level, a financial level, and a social level. Nobody's talking about it like that. So I'm never worried about anybody trying to mimic or copy me, because you can't. I was created for this. And when you are created for something and you are in that space, I don't need to. That's why I don't go live every day. See, I don't go live every day. I don't post 50 million things of content. I speak from a clear position. And when I speak, I get paid. Because what I'm speaking is truth. And what I provide is transformation. And women come to work with me when they want their lives changed. Thank y'all so much for 40,000 likes. Women come to me when they want transformation in their entire existence. Women come to me when they're tired of making excuses and tired of asking people what the next book is they need to read. They come to me when they want results, because they're going to get them. This ain't no vent session. Yesterday was the first session in the Pattern Interruption Lab. It was beautiful. Beautiful. The women that are in the Pattern Interruption Lab, they came in. It was about business. It's a no venting zone. They got powerful strategies. Those women are doing their work. They're going to change their life. Okay? So women that come into this space, that's what they want to do. So when you are online, you got to understand, when you are in the social reality, effort doesn't fix perception problems. Value is something that is perceived. They don't perceive what you've given as valuable. Thank you, my love. Because you're not speaking with authority. You're not speaking with your authority. You're trying to use somebody else's voice to speak. When your people are waiting on you and you just keep putting out stuff, hoping something is going to bite, that doesn't work in this reality. In social reality, you cannot make effort fit your perception issues. Okay? Now, that's what you got to understand. So if you're wanting to make money in the social reality, first, let's go to the spiritual reality. We got to that's that foundation layer. Okay, so that's the first layer. The second layer is finances and material flow. That is the social reality. That's the metaverse. Okay, that's you going beyond. It's beyond working hard. My homegirl, you might see her on here all the time. She's my former coach and my friend. Her name is Coach J. She teaches about the post-labor era. The post-labor era. Think about it. Meta means beyond, on top of. You have to go beyond the physical. It be in your face. It be in your face. It be in your face. Mark Zuckerberg is telling you, you're going to have to go beyond the physical. He's showing you with Facebook, we're going beyond the physical. How is Facebook going beyond the physical? Because it understands your patterns now. It suggests things to you now. It's entering into you. Do you understand that these platforms, a lot of them are like mediums? Because they secretly get into spaces with you. They're don't get me started. I'm about to stop with that. Because it's a lot. It's in your face. You're going to have to go beyond. Because you got to understand that the powers that be and the oppressors of this society are going beyond when it comes down to making you their slave. I'm talking about they going beyond your physical. They going straight to your mental. They going straight to your emotional. They're not playing. They're going beyond. And you're helping them. Okay? So, like I said, this isn't on this layer. Most people try to fix this layer with more output instead of clear positioning, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work here. Okay? Get into it. AI is mimicking the physical. You know, and you know what else always tries to mimic the original? The one that's the opposite from the creator. Everything you see for the most part is a mimic. A mimic. Let's get into layer 3, which is the core. Okay. So we talked about the the foundational layer, which is the spiritual reality. Okay. You must be in the spirit to decipher the real. Absolutely. It's the only way. So that's why the spiritual is the foundational layer. And then you go to, again, the second layer, which is the digital reality or the social reality, okay, which is the social and the economic layer, okay? And so we go into the third layer of this, excuse me, which is the earthly realm, the physical realm, where we're dealing with the space of the universe, right? So we have the multiverse, which is the spiritual foundational layer. We have the digital social reality, which is the metaverse, okay, where the money and all those things. And then we also have the core, which is the foundation, which is another, which is a fundamental, It's the core, it's the earthly and physical reality. So the third layer is the physical reality, and this is basically like the body, okay? The nervous system, time, and energy. So when we're dealing with earthly reality, we're dealing with all things physical. We're dealing with time, energy, space, matter, you know what I'm saying? All of those things. So again, we basically dealing with the body. So this layer, which is the earthly realm, the core, is governed by physics and biology, okay? So this is what this looks like in this space, in this realm. So if your body is overstimulated, no amount of alignment will save you. No amount of alignment will save you if you are overstimulated. We have to get you from being overstimulated in order to position you to be in alignment. Because if you're too overstimulated, imagine being in a room where it's lights going crazy, the music is loud, one speaker is playing one song, another speaker is playing another song, and then on top of that, you got on, let's just say you have on these 3D glasses, and you are being told that you need to walk through this door that's all the way on the other side. You got to walk down this hallway to get through this door. There is no way that you're going to be able to get to that door in a timely manner or reach that door with all that stimulation happening around you. It is impacting your ability to be able to be in alignment to receive. If your body is overstimulated, there is no amount of alignment that is going to save you. No matter how much I stand at the front of the door screaming to you, come this way, 2 steps right, 2 to the left, you cannot get in alignment because you are too overstimulated. The second thing, example like this, is where I want you to understand, if your nervous system is fried, your best plans will collapse. If you live your life in the energy of anxiousness and anxiety, you will continue to find yourself in a space where the things that you desire will continue to collapse in your face. Okay? Because you don't have the power to hold them. I was having a conversation. I'm gonna use this short example. In the pattern interruption lab that I was having session with one of my clients on yesterday, I have my clients describe to me when they get in a space or a specific pattern. I have them record what happens within their body. Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it here? Do you feel it there? Do you feel it here? Right? So I was having a conversation with a client, and she was explaining to me how she gets so anxious, and I began to ask her, well, what do you feel when this happens and you get so overwhelmed in this space? She was like, my heart feels heavy. My chest feels tight. And I get weak in the knees. I said, do you realize how that one thought takes over your mind, trickles down into your heart, to change your heart posture into a deep, heavy one? Then it travels down to your knees to where it snatches your ability to be able to stand, which is a threat to your stability. And do you know that this specific client had some stuff that happened where one aspect of her stability was snatched? See, when you don't understand you're a spirit being having a human experience, you bring that energy of you being anxious, and it manifests in a physical way to where it wrecks your physical stability. This is why, like I said, it's very important for you to be in a space where you have the foundation of that spiritual layer, so that you can create in the social reality layer, so that you can actually see it happen in the physical layer, which is the earthly core of this reality. But if your nervous system is fried, every plan that you have is going to collapse because you can't hold it. You don't have the stability and the foundation to be able to hold that. Another thing is, if your energy is leaking, you will not sustain anything that you were trying to build. If you are a woman who is in a relationship and you lack boundaries, that relationship can potentially result in your early demise. Because if you don't have any boundaries in your life, if you don't have any gates to protect you and to guard you the way you are told to guard your heart above everything else in Proverbs 4:23, there is such a thing called broken heart syndrome. People die from that. It's not a joke and it's not a game. It's not a joke and it's not a game. Y'all hold y'all questions for me. I'm almost done. It's not a joke and it's not a game. I've watched somebody die from broken heart syndrome. That's why I don't have any. When somebody come to me and they're in a situation where I feel like your life on the line, I'm going to tell you, you need to value your life. Because I watched somebody die from that. And it was heartbreaking to me. Still to this day. Young. You've got to stop playing these games with your life. The scripture tells you, she said, my aunt passed away from broken heart syndrome. I'm so sorry to read that. It is extremely for real. And toxic relationships ruin your womb. Love and toxic sex and it's messing up your womb is crazy. Because you don't know that your womb is a portal. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. You don't know that your womb is a portal and a pathway. And so you let anything you just giving it out. Because you don't understand the value and you're wondering why. And I just told you there's a connection between your womb and your brain. And you wonder why you ain't thinking right when you lay down with a toxic fool. And you wonder why we having womb issues. Y'all out here in people comments asking people, oh, I've been dealing with my boyfriend. I got BV. I got this. I got... Y'all, what else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? Because don't piss me off. Body be telling you what's up. Thank you, my love. Oh, I love that, universe. Body be telling you what's up. You had butterflies when you met the fool. You should have left him alone then, but you want to lay with him, and now you got BV, and you talking about, well, if that's the case. If your energy is leaking, you will not sustain anything that you build, okay? This is where the women who try to mindset their way through physical limits, okay? This is the woman like, oh, I just got to do some mindset work so I can be able to get this. Don't get on my nerves. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Okay? So, it's like, she said, I'm actually in good alignment now since I'm not laying, I'm assuming with anyone. Forget all that. I understand. See, that's the thing. Women don't understand. The more you lay down with somebody, you let somebody in your pathway, the more you block your energy. Because he's putting down and he's picking up. And all you doing is getting the energy of that individual. And some of y'all around here laying around with demons. For real, for real. For real, for real. Okay? You got to understand that in this particular layer, the earthly realm, right? And we're going into the realm of physical, the core, the physical layer. You cannot outthink, or you cannot think your way out of exhaustion. There's no way you're going to be able to do that. The earthly realm doesn't care about belief. It cares about capacity. The earthly realm doesn't care about belief. It cares about capacity. This layer, the earthly realm, doesn't care about belief. It cares about capacity. This is why it's very hard for people who don't have money capacity, who don't have time capacity, who don't have energy capacity, who don't have attention capacity. This is why they reject your spiritual teachings, a lot of you. They reject spiritual teachings about how you can manifest things and make things happen and God will provide. They reject that because when you are living only in the earthly realm and you have no spiritual, you have no creativity in the social realm where you can make money, you're just on the earth existing, all you care about is capacity. You don't care about belief. You have no belief. You only believe what you see. And that's why it tells you in scripture that you are to walk by faith and not sight. But if you are only living according to this reality, which is the lowest, the earthly reality, if you are only sitting here, you will only be focused on capacity, how much money you have, how much energy you have, how much this you have, how much attention you have, how much focus you have, how much this, how much this, how much this. There is no room. There is no God in your life. Even if you say you believe, if your focus and all you care about is your capacity, you having an issue in the spiritual realm. There's no foundation, which is why you can't get the fundamentals. Spiritual reality is foundation. Social reality is creation. Earthly reality is core. That's why a lot of you can't manifest, because you're not rooted in all three of those realities. You in the earthly realm, so you ain't got no belief. And let me tell you something, the Most High ain't coming to hear about you, see about you, help you when you ain't got no belief. Depend on the master you serving. If you serving the earthly masters, serve them up, because that's where your belief lies. Because you won't rise. You won't rise into the spiritual realm so you can create on the social realm, so you can manifest on the earthly realm. No. Stay there, begging and complaining and cursing the creator because you won't rise up. Because that's the truth. That's the truth. You want to sit in that reality. So all you are concerned about is your capacity. But you don't understand, if you tapped into the spiritual reality, your capacity would expand. Your capacity would expand. But you're too scared for that. You lack too much belief for that. You ain't ready for that, which is why that money, that man, none of those things have found you. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I'm just telling you the truth. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. But here's the real problem, okay? Most people live only in one layer. They ignore the other two. They do. Okay, spiritual people ignore their bodies. Oh, I don't want to go. All the doctors, liars, all this and all that. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Spiritual people ignoring their bodies. What's wrong with y'all? Go get your blood work, baby. Do your research on every test you need to get to understand your baseline, sweetheart. It's okay if you don't want to go to the doctor 50 million times, but know your baseline, sweetie, so you can do your work. Don't try to spiritually bypass and be like, God gonna do this. God didn't create you to be a fool. Stop. You got to at least know what you're working with so you can correct. The body shifts and changes. Food is very different now. Stop. Got spiritual people out here ignoring their bodies and telling other people to do that. Stop doing that. Telling people to take supplements when they don't understand their baseline. Stop doing that. That ain't holy. That ain't holy. And you wrong. You wrong if you out here encouraging people to hurry up and go get supplements without explaining to them that they should go and get their own baseline and understand what's going on for them so they don't overload their system, so they don't mess something up. You are inviting wickedness you are teaching people to invite wickedness within their own bodies due to their lack of understanding, due to leaning on their own understanding by trusting you. And you're going to pay for that. That's why I don't play them games. Everybody ain't got spiritual ethics. And everybody don't understand spiritual law. Okay? So again, don't do that. But that's happening out here. Spiritual people ignoring their bodies. And we have hard workers ignoring positioning. Why are you working so hard at this entry-level position? Why are you giving them your blood, your sweat, your tears, your energy, your focus, your attention, your mindset, your taxing on your soul? All of that to be in a low position. Hard work is ignoring positioning. Stop doing that. Body gonna break down. Strategist out here ignoring direction. This is why life for a lot of these type of individuals feels like effort with absolutely no reward. I don't know why I keep working hard, but nothing seems to turn my way. Nothing seems to go the way that I need to go. But I want to ask you something really important. I want you to think about it for a second. Which layer are you over living in right now? And you can put it in the comments or you can not put it in the comments. If you are in a state to where you're clear on your effort, but you're unclear on your direction, put foundation in the comments. Because if you put foundation in the comments, we're not living on a spiritual layer. We're not rooted in the spiritual layer. Okay? If you are working extremely hard, but you're under-recognized, put finances in the comments. That means that we haven't figured out how to work the social reality layer. We haven't figured out how to work the digital layer. Because though we working, we're not recognized the way we need to be recognized. If you are exhausted and overwhelmed, put core in the comments, because that means that we're having issues in the earthly realm, the physical realm. Okay? What I want you to understand and know is that nothing is wrong with you. Okay? Nothing is wrong with you. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're not behind, all the things that society will try to do to keep you under a spell. You are just trying to solve the wrong problem in the wrong place. Okay? Power doesn't come from domination in one layer. It comes from alignment across all three: the spiritual realm, the spiritual reality, the social reality, and the physical earthly reality. Okay? Now, if this live helped you see that you've been working hard in all the wrong places, then this is how you can move forward if you want to shift that. If you want live orientation, I'm having a 3-day live architecture class, okay? And it's called the Order Code. It's the 23rd, the 25th, and the 27th. And we are going to dive really deeply into that experience. So let me tell you what's going to be in that class and what we're going to go over every single day. And if you're not ready for that, I have another option for you, so don't trip. Okay? So day one, what we're going to do is that we're going to focus on the structural failure. We're going to talk about why awareness stops working at a higher capacity. Why, even though you know things, why is it that you can't get these things done? Even though you know better, why you can't do better? We're going to focus on that. I'm going to help you figure that out day one. On day two, we're going to go into the internal hierarchy model. So we're going to talk about what actually leads under pressure. So this is what you're going to learn in this experience. You're going to learn the correct order, which is identity, mind, emotion, behavior. Identity, mind, motion, behavior. A lot of you are operating out of mind. A lot of you are operating out of behavior. A lot of you are operating out of emotion. And you're not doing this in a proper order, which is why you're not getting the results that you want, okay? You're also going to learn that day where your system invests under stress and why hierarchy collapses in the real world moments that you're actually having, okay? So you're going to have a test in that space that's going to support you, okay? And it's kind of like going to give you a pressure test where you have this 10-second window so you can start correcting it. Day 3, once we got day 1 and day 2 out the way, day 3 is going to be the sealer of the magic. Okay. This is how you're going to self-position without identity wobble. Okay. You're going to leave with an internal positioning framework. You're going to leave with clarity on what leads versus what supports versus what must stop running the system. You're also going to have the ability to identify misorder in real time. Okay. So what you're going to walk away with knowing is that why effort hasn't been working, where your capacity is leaking, how to enter rooms without your identity wobbling, and how to stop mistaking, insight for authority. What this is going to do is restore order. When order is restored, effort softens. And if you don't believe me, that's why y'all be out here begging, talking about something. You want a man to come pull you and support you. Why? Because you want order so that you can soften and be in your energy. That's what y'all really be saying. I want a man to come take me out. A man can't take you out of masculine responsibilities and put you in your feminine. I understand what you're trying to say. They can't do that. What you're saying is, I need the order in my life and the structure in my life and the direction in my life that allows me to be able to be the free, creative, feminine being that I am. That's what you're saying. You don't know how to articulate that because you don't understand that, because you don't have internal order. And you're going to need that. So you click the link in the bio to get access to it. The price of the class for the 3-day is $250. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. The $250 price point, from my understanding, I think is up until the 8th, if I'm not mistaken. So you can click the link in the bio to get access to that. After the 8th is going to be $333. This class is going to support you in shifting your entire experience. So if you are ready for that, make sure you click the link in the bio to get access. Now, here's the next thing. If you're not necessarily ready for the code, here's another option that's going to be very, very important, because what you don't want to do is continue to keep repeating these same patterns. Okay? Like you can't continue to keep doing it and thinking that your life is going to be well, and you don't want that for yourself. So the second best thing that you can get would be the pattern recognition lens. Okay. And the pattern recognition lens, high level, will receive recordings from the core. If we can't make, yes, you will. You talking about from the order? Yes, you'll get. So with the order code, you will get all 3 replays, and you will have all your replays for a year. You'll have access to them for a year. So if you get the class and you can't come, you will get the replays, and you also get to be a part of the Telegram group that I'm going to create, because I'm going to create a Telegram group for those 5 days. So you get a full experience. So when you come out of class on the 23rd, I'm going to ask questions on the 24th. It's the reason why I have the classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because I give you days in between to process the information that we're giving you, because it's so powerful. What I have been told in the past by a lot of women who come to work with me is like, oh my God, the information you give is so, so powerful, but I need a little bit more time to digest, right? And so what I'm doing in this experience is giving you a little bit of time to be able to dissect and digest what you've been given. So when we come back refreshed on the following days, everybody is good to go. Thank you so much, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Okay. Now, if you're not necessarily ready for the order, what you can get that would be really, really supportive would be the pattern recognition lens. Okay. This is going to, hi Lovey, this is going to train you to stop personalizing your outcomes and start seeing your patterns, your sequences, and your self override in real time. Each class is 60 minutes. But if you've been in class with me, y'all know sometimes I be going over, because I be trying to answer y'all questions and get everything we need. So it's 60 minutes, but sometimes when questions go and it be like 75 to 90. So when people, I have a lot of gratitude and a lot of honor when it comes down to women making the decision to invest to work with me. So I do my best to make sure that the woman has a quality experience. And if there's a question that she needs, I like to go ahead and answer it, because it's difficult sometimes to even open your mouth and speak and say certain things in front of a crowd of people. And I am really good at creating safe spaces so people can be honest, ask honest questions, because there is no judgment. There is no judgment. There's only solutions in my space, which is why you can't come in there and vent a bunch of trauma, because there's only solutions and support in my space. And that's why a lot of women come to work with me and why I'm highly trusted. Okay. So let me explain the pattern interruption lab, and I'm not pattern interrupt, the pattern recognition lens, excuse me, and what you're going to get. So this is what the pattern recognition lens is going to do. It's going to give you a 3 lens framework that supports you in spotting your patterns. Okay. It's a visual pattern formula that shows you where you self override. It supports you in getting clear distinctions between your patterns and your phases in your life. It supports you with relational and business examples. There's a fast binary test to confirm what you are consistently repeating that may be keeping you in a time loop or destroying your life. There's also something in there to support you, and it's called a decision anchor that's going to support you and stop explaining what keep costing you. Okay. So if you've ever said, oh, this time is going to be different, this and this and that, then this is going to be for you. This is not a workbook. This is not trauma processing. This is not motivational. This is not therapy coded language. It's a decision clarity tool that you can use to see where you are sabotaging or where the sabotage is coming from. If you want to get to the root of it, baby, this is going to help you see yourself. If you don't want to see yourself, don't get it. Okay. But it's going to help you see you. It's $111. You can get a recliner affirming afterpay as well. And you can click the link in the bio to be able to get access to it. That's if you need to see your patterns, okay? If you need to create a new baseline emotionally and you need to do that work, then you definitely want to get Emotional Foundations, okay? Emotional Foundations is a nervous system rewiring course. It is not a video course. It is an audio course. It is an audio course because I've done the study, I've done the work, I've done the education on how my particular client and what my client needs. My client who needs the Emotional Foundations course is burnout on video content. She's burnt out on watching videos. She has a notebook full of notes. She has she has YouTube people pinned and saved. She got videos saved on TikTok that she ain't even went back to watch yet. Why? Because she's too overwhelmed. She can't do no more video content. What she needs to do is be able to sit, to be able to listen, to be able to relax, to be able to hear me in her ear when she's cooking, hear me while she's sleeping, hear me while she's working out, hear me while she's driving, hear me during those time frames, hear my voice so that she can stay in a state of calm. That is what Emotional Foundations is going to do for you. It's 6 modules. It's going to help you build your emotional baseline and rewire your nervous system for safety, clarity, and support. That is what Emotional Foundation does, okay? So it's an audio-based course. You're going to have each audio that's in the module is no longer than 3 or 4 minutes. You're going to have workbooks and worksheets that come with it that you have to fill out because I'm teaching you the power behind your words and the things that you write down, because you need to understand that society has you captive. Okay? Society has you captive by words and by the laws and things that they write down. You free yourself by changing your words and what you write down, because it tells you in scripture, write the vision down, make it plain, okay? Because without a vision, the people will perish. So this course, Emotional Foundations, is really going to support you in being able to build the proper foundation that you need to build. After a year, we need to check in. Wow, what a beautiful... Yes, we do need to check in. Please let me know. DM me. Yes, so we can please check in. Please, please, please. Okay? So if you're interested, those are the 2 products and services that can support you. 3 products and services that can support you. You can get the pattern recognition lens for $111. You can get your ticket to class. The live architecture, which is happening on the 23rd, the 25th, and the 27th. For women, the order code for $250, or you can get Emotional Foundations for $333, okay? So click the link in the bio to get access to those. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions before I get ready to let y'all go? Any questions? Oh, excuse me, my nose is itching. Any questions before I let y'all go? And let me make sure I didn't miss nothing either. Yep, I answered each class with 60 minutes. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? If not, my prayer is that this inspired you to take action. Because I'm not here to be an inspiration so you can have an amen. So I don't care about none of that. I don't care about anything but you getting the results of understanding what I'm saying. You're going to need to align yourself with all three of these realities if you want to create the reality that you desire, especially going forward, because the effort and the things that you've been doing previously, it's not going to work in this new reality. It's not going to work in this new era, excuse me. So it's going to require mastery in those three key areas, okay? So click the link in the bio to be able to get access to these things. The second layer is social reality. I talked about it. You're going to have to go back and catch it when I put it on YouTube. But I talked about the social reality, the digital reality, where that's the layer of social and the social and economic layer. That's where the money resides. You've got to learn how to make money digitally. You've got to learn how to make money with, expand your money, not make money, but expand your money digitally. And you have to learn how to expand your consciousness, so that you can create in the social reality. Okay. What's your opinion about logging off social media completely? Do you think it would be detrimental to the second layer? Not if you don't plan on creating in the second layer, but if you plan on using the second layer to be able to create in the material reality, then yes. But if you don't plan on using that reality to be able to create, then no. Some people are not using that reality. Some people are going back to analog reality. Because this is the thing too. If you're gonna be in a social reality, you really need to be creating there. And I know people are like, oh, it's just for fun. It's not fun. If social media is fun for you, you're the project. If social media is fun for you, you are the project in this experiment because you are consuming more than producing. You are exactly what the creators of this particular realm want. They want you. They want the 85. They want the people who just gonna be deaf, blind, and dumb. That's how they're looking at it. I'm not calling you that, but that's how they're looking at it, to be honest with you. So there are some people who are creating. If you're going to be in the digital reality and the social reality, create there. If you're going to be in the analog reality, because the analog reality is making a comeback, and it's going to make a heavy comeback this summer. So, and it's going to make a heavy comeback this year, as far as like getting together communities, even going simple things, going back to letter writing and sending mail. There's a big aspect of the analog market, right? An analog reality. That's why I say it's multiple realities. But if you're going to be on social reality, which if you're joining me here, you are participating in social reality, you need to learn how to create there, because you're creating something whether you realize it or not, because it's the land of the layer where, like I said, money, reputation, visibility, and more things reside. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Any other question? Do you recommend meditation for getting centered in these realities? Meditation to me is a byproduct of you being rooted in, it's a part of the spiritual reality, right? So how can I describe this? This is the best way for me to describe this. So, of course, in the spiritual reality, some people call it purpose, calling, all that type of stuff. When you are clear in that reality, then you can begin to meditate after that. But if you're not clear in that reality, a lot of your meditations are going to be confusing, right? It's going to be extremely confusing because you're not rooted in the spiritual reality. So you have to be rooted in the spiritual reality in order for you to really get the true benefits of manifestation. Not manifestation, excuse me, meditation, right? Because it does tell you in scripture to meditate on things and focus your mind on things that are above. So it's most definitely something that's vital, but we have to have the foundation set first, because a lot of the meditation is going to come from, and you're going to want to meditate when things appear to get difficult or things seem to close in the earthly reality, right? When things start to get tight in the earthly reality, you have to meditate to bring yourself back to that foundational layer, which is the spiritual reality. Then once you've rooted yourself in that reality, guess what you can do then? You have the confidence, you have the energy to make bold, clear decisions. So now you go into the social reality, and here you go, you're creating. All of a sudden there's money. all of a sudden there's reputation to the point to where people want to come and hire you. All of a sudden, like, there's visibility in Ghana where somebody wants to hire you. I have clients all over the world, but recently I just got a client from Ghana, and that was a new country. So that's the thing when it comes down to visibility. Me creating in this social reality positioned me to be able to have clients in Ghana, Australia, Dubai, different places like that, right? The UK. So I hope that made sense, because I know I was kind of going in a lot. What about hypnosis? What about it? What about it? I don't know. I mean, you're welcome. I personally, for me, I don't need hypnosis because I know how to go within the depths of my mind, and I know how to sit in the foundational layer, the spiritual realm, and feel very comfortable there. So that's my line of travel. Like, certain things I don't have to do, right? I like, for me, you won't ever have to worry about me doing something like, oh, I'm leaving my astral projection, all that. No, I don't need to do any of that, because when you're rooted to me, when you're rooted in the spiritual realm, and that foundation is stable, you can hold power. I don't have to leave my body to get power. I don't have to get off my post to be able to hold command. I just need to be very steady in that, very secure in that. And me being very secure in that, I don't need to get off my post to go get anything. I can, if things get, like I just said, if things get too tight, or I feel like things are closing in on me, all I have to do is travel to the spiritual reality and be in that space and put my mind on things that are above. And once I put my mind on things that are above, that energy is going to fuel through me, and I'm going to be able to create from that space. If I want to enter into the social reality to create, I'll do that. If I want to enter into the analog reality and go out with people and create, I'll do that. But I have the grounding to be able to do that because I've traveled to the spiritual realm. So I don't need to leave my body. And me personally, and I don't knock nobody who do whatever, I personally I don't think it's wise for me to leave my body. Here's why I don't think it's wise for me to leave my body. And really anybody, but I'm just speaking for me specifically. When you have a level of power and influence, you have to think about how the oppressors of this society works. So a lot of people in the music industry, the entertainment industry, and stuff like that, how they get put on is that these soul suckers with these soul contracts see the power of their influence of this particular individual. And so they want to use your likeness so that you can put forth their agenda. Okay. They want to use your influence. They want to use your magic. They want to use your power. They want to use the things and the gifts that the Most High has given you to be able to create the reality that you desire. They want to do those things, right? And they want to take that and they want to position you to spew their agenda. That's basically what that is. So when you find yourself in a space of coming off your square, right? Or coming off your block, or, not guarding your position, this is how people use your magic to lure others, and then you realize that you've lured them into something that was extremely dangerous. You didn't realize how deep the rabbit hole goes. You didn't realize how deep these files go. And so now you didn't seen something trading yourself off, and now you in the soul contract, and the only way to get out of it is to expose yourself. So you either gonna have to expose yourself to in the physical reality by telling everybody, and when you tell everybody, they probably gonna blackball you and say you crazy. It's literally blood in, blood out. So you're going to either cut yourself for the world to see, or they're going to cut. You understand? So I don't think it's wise to leave your body, because when you leave your body, you allow anything to enter into your space and use your influence for their agenda. And demons need access, and they love an empty post. They love an unguarded post. I'm sorry. Okay? And they only come in via invitation. So yeah, don't leave no openings. I was thinking about the other day how risky it'd be to leave your body. It is. Like, people look at movies like I used to love the movie Insidious. Y'all, if you've ever seen it, you remember that baby leaving his body? Leaving his body and somebody got in it. That stuff ain't no joke. That stuff ain't no game. There is such a thing where, yeah, you travel. There's also a scripture that talks about you go too far and you leave yourself and you get that cord, that silver cord cut. See, there's a cord. See, you better be reading that scripture because it be telling you what's going on. Okay? It be telling you what's going on. If you leave your home, your regular home too long, you could get squatters. Exactly. That's the same concept. Is that what happens when people get drunk? No. When people get drunk, they call it wine and they call it spirits for a reason. You never know what's coming up. What alcohol does is, the reason why it tells you in scripture not to get drunk is not because, oh, we don't want you to have a good time. It's that it lowers your inhibitions. And what it does is it pushes down your ability to be able to rise up and stand in your full authority. Therefore, something else rises up. Whatever you've invited into your experience rises up. Is it the spirit of anger? Is it the spirit of envy? Like, what is it, right? So that's the thing. Project over here and I snap that cord. I'm crying. You know, I need to do the research. But that's what I heard happened to the man who was over Satanism. But I'm gonna go look it up because I don't know. I saw that the other day. That what happened with him was that he traveled somewhere in that silver cord got cut. But I'm gonna go look and see for sure. Don't take that as that. I'm finna do some real research on that. But yeah, you don't want to play with that. Yep, that's him. That's exactly who it is. They said that happened to him, and so, baby, don't play them games. Y'all better be very careful out here. How to stop worrying? Do you make a decision to stop worrying? You're going to either believe the creator got you or you're going to believe that whatever you're being told. Belief impacts biology and biology influences the way you behave. If you really want to get down to the root of your worry, then you have to get to the root of your attachment. And if you want to get to the root of your attachment, then you might want to check out my product, Love in the Nervous System, the Science of Magnetism, Attraction, and Feminine Magnetism and Attraction, where it addresses your attachment issues. So if you have anxious attachment style, all those things, go over there. Because those things, those attachment styles are ruining your ability to get money and have the type of relationship with the masculine that you want. And you can get that for $222. You can get a recliner, firm, and afterpay. Love in the Nervous System is a client favorite. Do you hear me? People love in the nervous system. They can't get enough. It's truly changed a lot of women's lives in the areas of dating. It's changed a lot of women's lives in the area when it comes down to money. Because when you understand the science of attraction and magnetism, you know how to get things done. You know how to get things done. Okay? All right. I'm not seeing any other questions. Can I inbox you for that? You can, but it's in the bio. It's in the bio. If you scroll, hold on. If you click the link in the bio and you scroll down, you're gonna see it's the fourth one. It's right after the pattern recognition lab. You're gonna see Love in the Nervous System, and it's gonna come up. You can get it for $222. And it's really going to support you in dealing with those attachment issues. But you can inbox me if you don't see it for some reason, and I'll gladly send you the link, okay? All right, darlings, I am gone for this Feminine Friday. Happy Feminine Friday. I hope that you all have an amazing weekend. Please be safe and remember that self-care is the key fundamental of every single relationship, because you set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself, and you should treat yourself exceptionally well because you deserve that, okay? But if you don't believe you deserve that, I cannot argue with your perception of self, and I hope that you would elevate your perception of self so that you can see yourself well, see yourself better, and live well, okay? All right, click the link in the bio to get access to any of the products and services that I talked about today, and make sure that you sign up to become a subscriber on my Substack, subscribe to my YouTube, okay? And if you get over on YouTube and you find this valuable, make sure that you share this information with another amazing high capacity woman who needs this. Because don't try to gatekeep. Don't gatekeep what I give, okay? Because if I'm not gatekeeping, you ain't got no business gatekeeping, all right? Y'all have an amazing weekend. Peace.